In today's episode, escorts for illegal migrants. How and why do some foreigners return home under escort? For beauty or for health, what drugs are the most popular among smugglers? They walk to the airplane separately from the rest of the passengers. Their hands are cuffed and their shoulders are held in the strong arms of border guards. Meet Zafar and Muhammad. They are illegal migrants detained on the Ukrainian-Romanian border back in 2016, who are returning home to Pakistan under escort. They give a short interview before departure. Their faces radiate kindness. Ukrainian border guards found us. They did their job well. We understand that we violated the law of Ukraine. Such nice men, but they should not be trusted. This footage was taken on March 16, 2018, at the Державна airport in Kiev, and back then everything looked completely different. I'll kill you. I'll kill you all. Do you recognize them? These are our heroes, and that was the first attempt to send them home. As you can see, it was unsuccessful. The captain of the plane made a decision in accordance with the ICAO norms. He denied these foreigners to board the plane. Having sufficiently annoyed the crew, they achieved their goal and managed to remain in Ukraine. Such is the legislation. After that, the foreigners were returned to the center of temporary stay of foreigners in the Chernihiv Oblast. 5 days later, due to the fact that they had already spent the maximum detention period of 18 months, these foreigners were released from the center. What the Pakistanis have been doing in our country for over a year and how they were caught is an entirely different story. However, after the incident, border guards reached out to the Frontex agency, which is an EU agency for external border protection that has considerable experience in forced expulsion of such illegal migrants. We started our training together with the Frontex agency in Kiev, and we conducted exercises with this agency. The first 23 servicemen were trained to carry out specific tasks, such as escorting foreigners to their country of origin by air. Today, 28 border guards have been issued international certificates that allow them to escort such aggressive citizens. Over the course of 1 year, they have led over 20 convoys. They use special means in order to perform these tasks. These are the so-called body cases. They restrict movement and prevent people from injuring themselves and others. They were used when this African was being sent home. The man promised that he would organize a serious, chaotic situation at the airport. However, his plans did not work out. Perhaps he realized that his chances were low. Forced deportation is not cheap. One operation costs about 60,000 hryvnias. But keep in mind that 1 day stay of a foreigner at a special center costs Ukrainian taxpayers up to 400 hryvnias. Over the course of 18 months, that amounts to 250,000 hryvnias. Each day that illegal foreigners stay in Ukraine means huge expenditures from the state budget. Today, 130 persons live in the Volyn temporary detention center near Lutsk. 2/3 of them were detained by border guards on the borders with EU countries. This year, this figure has already exceeded 500. Their final destination is the West, after all. Thus, they view Ukraine as a transit country in their search for a better life. They prefer not to show their faces and hide from cameras. Illegal migrants have several loopholes in their arsenal to avoid identification and test the strength of Ukrainian border guard detachments. Provocations at the airport are one of them. But now, far from everyone is ready to return to their homeland this way. In January to February 2019, foreigners who had been staying at the center for 6 months started contacting us and identifying themselves, booked their own flights and eventually flew to their countries of origin. Border guards assure that they only take radical measures when all other options have been exhausted. But whether that is going to stop seekers of a better life is a rhetorical question. We're returning home to Pakistan. We will definitely come to Ukraine again, but legally. And if we decide to go to Europe, we will not go through Ukraine. Imagine that. Are they going to try to do this again? Well, that's on their conscience now. In the meantime, we wish them happy trails. Illegal medicine trade in the occupied territories of the Donbass is a profitable business. Russia is not too concerned with the health of its vassals and is instead supplying them with weapons. Yes, the number of patients is not decreasing, so medicines are most often brought across the line of demarcation, the Novotroitsky checkpoint. Here, border guards, together with the security service employees, found a minibus transporting 800,000 hryvnias worth of medications. There is nothing special about them. Everyone should have them at home. Painkillers, anti-flu medicine, activated carbon and biologically active supplements. The detainee said that he had purchased the medicines in Mariupol and was going to sell them in Donetsk. We will simply add that carrying medicines through the line of demarcation for personal use is not prohibited. However, a batch worth almost 1 million hryvnias is obviously for that purpose. This smuggler from the Sumy Oblast decided that aspirin is not very profitable, but steroids are a very lucrative business, since having a beautiful body is always popular. But the euphoria did not last long, as he was detained by the police on a dark night near the village of Dmitrivka. The man had no ID on him. Instead, he had 4 boxes of anabolic drugs worth up to 1 million hryvnias. The steroids he had just smuggled in from Russia won't give him any profits. Next, souvenirs as memorabilia. How border guards detained an armed Frenchman. It's a buy-hide-sell business project. An underground tobacco network was found in the south of Ukraine. People often bring souvenirs home from trips abroad. Admit it, you also have bought and collected plenty of magnets from all around the world. However, they were not magnets that the 30-year-old Frenchman brought with him when returning from Ukraine. Border guards found out about this from operational sources. So when the man arrived at the Krakow's checkpoint on the border with Poland, his vehicle was inspected very carefully. A highly trained service dog saved them some time and showed the border guards exactly where to search for the contraband. The foreigner hid 3 Makarov pistols in the dashboard. The border guards also found an AK magazine. Due to the size of the latter, the criminal had to put it inside the door, so in the end, the tourist's attempts to smuggle the good were obviously in vain. But the 4-legged assistant didn't stop there, and he sniffed out a pack of marijuana in the vehicle. Odessa, a pearl on the sea coast. Life blooms here, especially in the summer. It is also a land near the border. Romania and Moldova are nearby, so border guards here are hot regardless of the time of year. Recently, the Green Berets, together with the tax authorities and the prosecutor's office, discovered a large network of underground cigarette dealers here. The lucrative business was booming, which got the attention of law enforcement bodies. Searching the 7 warehouses was not in vain. They found 170,000 packs of cigarettes produced in several countries. But that's not all. If you're going to say that conducting searches is not that difficult, you're gravely mistaken. These sacks contain 4 tons of tobacco. What for? It is most likely a raw material for underground tobacco factories like this one. It was found last month during an international special operation in the Kyiv Oblast. The hard-working entrepreneurs of Odessa were not far behind. The confiscated tobacco was estimated to be worth 6 million hryvnias.